The reason, I think the coach and the players at that point in time didn't believe that I'm going to come back as strong as I was before I delivered the baby.
Because you mentioned you played with the women.
Career, never, until now. Career, no. Career is
So you're
always
doing
for
it just
women.
recreationally. You're just doing it for fun.
For the love of the game. Love of the game, for sure. It will never be a career for women, unfortunately, in this part of the world.
Physically, what is that like, honestly, trying to make it back to a high level after you give birth?
Honestly, if there's a will, there's a way.
Welcome back to Beyond the Buzzer, the podcast that discusses the interplay between balance, success, and adversity for high-performance athletes. Today's episode was shot with Rasha Abdo, one of the most decorated women in Jordanian basketball history. Beyond her extensive career as a hooper, she also has worked at notable companies like Orange, Zin, and now Infobip, and has held senior roles at all those places. Beyond that, she's also a mother of two and uses this episode to discuss how she balances family life, her career, and still maintains her love for the game of basketball. Before we let you watch the episode, though, please make sure you subscribe, like, and comment, because the more you do that, the more we can produce good content for you guys. Thanks, and enjoy the episode. Rasha, we finally got you on. Thank you for making time. We know you're busy.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
To the best shooter in Jordan, maybe the Middle East. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I think context here, when I first moved to Dubai, people were telling me playing this ball above all league.
Right.
It's mixed, but it's a good level. And I was like way too arrogant. I was like, there's no way I'm playing. And then someone showed me a video of Rasha shooting, and I was like, it's not about being too good. I actually just don't want to get cooked by that guy. So,
but you see how fast she is on the court, though?
Crazy.
How do you make those all crazy layups that you do? You're going full speed, and you just be throwing these balls, and it just goes in.
Well, I think I'm fast by nature, but I've been doing that for the past more than 25 years.
You are pretty damn fast.
Well, we're going to get into all that in your career for sure. But you know how we start off with our shot clock section. 13 questions, quick fire answers, and then we'll dive right in. Are you ready?
All right. Ready.
Oh, it's going to be fun, baby. Let's go.
Playing club or playing for the national team?
National team.
Morning routine.
The girls. Getting the girls to school.
Orthodoxy red or Hess blue?
That's a tough one. Heist.
Wow.
What is your pregame meal?
Don't ask me, man. Like, I'm not a healthy person. So if you're looking for a player who's like, tell you have to
So
eat
whatever's
healthy,
on the table, basically.
Whatever's on the table.
I love it.
Favorite activity to do on an off day?
Basketball.
Favorite athlete growing up?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, like it.
Reading books or listening to podcasts?
None.
Episode's done.
Best teammate you ever had?
That's a tough one again.
No hard feelings.
I
Go ahead and
two?
throw. You can throw two in there if you need to.
Okay, I would say Ruby and Lily.
Ruby said you, so
No,
thank
wait,
God.
sorry. Can I? No.
Yeah, go ahead. Who?
Ruby and Farah.
Ooh,
wow.
Farah.
Yes.
Nice.
Favorite Arabic dish?
ورق عنب.
One Arab player you wish you could play with?
Rebecca عقل.
Wow. Do you get more nervous before a game or before a big meeting?
Both.
Do you have any hidden talent?
Hidden talent. No, I think people know what my talents are.
And favorite tournament you ever played in?
The ones like the latest ones for the national team, I would say the Asia B qualifiers, because again, when you play for your country, it's a different feeling.
Right.
Sam, anything to take away before we go into the regular conversation?
I'm actually impressed that you still get a little bit nervous before games and meetings as well. Tell me a little bit about that and how do you deal with it?
But I think this is, I do still get nervous before both, but this is a healthy thing, because this is how you should get mentally and physically prepared for those. Like if you stop getting nervous, it means you stopped caring, you know, so.
I like that.
Yeah. So I think the fact that I still get nervous means that I care, and like it pushes me to prepare, you know, mentally and physically.
I agree.
To both.
You feel like you're more invested and you feel like you really want that. So that's why you're kind of nervous because you're excited about it.
Yes, exactly.
What about you? Anything stood out?
Yeah, I was going to ask, actually, funnily enough, I think one of the things I noticed when I was playing in Kuwait is that there was a lack of focus on nutrition on the player side. And so thank you for being authentic and saying that you don't eat healthy. But even in your playing career, when you were playing in Jordan, you never really once focused on...
Well, I still am playing in Jordan, technically.
Okay.
And
True.
Okay.
But you never really focus on the nutrition aspect
Not really.
of it. Is it because you don't have time, or is it nobody ever gave you the awareness of nutrition in a way.
It's because I'm a foodie. I like food.
It's a good place to live if you like food.
Yeah.
Food is heaven, man. Like yesterday, I had a conversation with somebody when I was at dinner, and they were talking about snacking. I said, I will never give that up. I don't really care what nutritionist or dietitian tells me about it. I really enjoy snacking when I'm at home, and I will never change it. That's happiness to me.
But again, like, don't listen to me. I'm probably bad.
No, I'm actually.
No.
I'm at the point in my life where now I work out just so I can eat, and I'll never change that. Someone was telling me yesterday, like, oh, if you want to go pro again, you should get on a meal plan. I'm like, I will never subscribe to a meal plan in my life. I want to enjoy my food, and if I have to put on a couple extra pounds, and
But speaking of that makes my life easy at work. I usually get my lunch every day delivered to me from a meal prep place, but it does make my job easier.
Fair enough. Well, we'll dive in, but Rasha, let's start at the beginning. We actually spoke to Ruby last week, so we got a bit of insight on what it was like for a woman growing up and playing basketball in Jordan. But from your own perspective, do you remember the first time you picked up a basketball and what it was like support-wise, infrastructure-wise?
Mm-hmm. So, okay, let me tell you the story. Okay. According to my mom and brothers, again, like quotes and quotes, they told me that I walked so early, like I walked, I think, at 9 or 10 months because of a ball. So,
Wow.
Yeah. And my first word was a bad word to my brother. I'm not going to say it now. But it was because he took a ball from me.
No way.
So, yeah, I think I was born with the love of, having playing with the ball. Yeah.
You were born in Kuwait, but you moved to Jordan at what age?
1 year old. Yeah.
Okay, right.
So I don't know it.
But when did you actually grab the basketball and started playing basketball?
I was 8 or 9 years old.
Okay.
And how it all started, it was because of Coach Sirsa Nagaway.
Nice.
Thank you to Coach Sirsa. But basically she was having like a sort of a campaign, I think, where she was like visiting different schools, finding, kids that are athletic. That's it. Like I had zero clue about basketball, but I was just like a kid who liked to run, who was like pretty active. And I remember like, it was me and maybe 19 other girls that got called for Nadi Al-Ahli back then.
Right.
Just for tryouts to see if, she could get anything out of those. And out of those 20 girls, it was only me that stayed.
Wow.
Shout out to Coach Sirsa.
Definitely, yes. Thank you.
I think out of all the women that I know, all of them came up through Coach Sirsa.
Definitely.
And without her, I think women basketball in Jordan wouldn't be where it is today.
Definitely.
I think every women basketball player in Jordan was coached by her.
So this is interesting. So you're saying that at the age of 8, she would go around and essentially scout people, and then once she chose you, you ended up playing for Ahli, which was a professional club but had youth teams.
Yes.
And so how often would you guys play during the week?
Oh my God, that was a long time back, but I think it was 3 times a week at least, something like that.
Okay. And that was early, and then from there, what made you move to Orthodox Club? Because she left and went to Orthodox Club?
I played with her also, like we moved together, so she was like my sponsor.
Right.
We moved together to Arena for 1 year, Arena Club, like they had 1 year of women, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 years.
Right.
And then to Orthodox, and that's it. Like I played most of my career in Orthodox until 2014, and 2014 is when I had my daughter Tala, and then I moved to Fhais Club.
So when you say you moved with her, was she part of all your player development? Was she the one that was helping you throughout those years?
At that point in time, female basketball was all about Coach Sirsa. We had I think Riyadi at that point. Ahli, when we were there, it was, they had a women team. But after we left, I think they stopped investing in women basketball at all. But yeah, we had a couple of teams in Jordan, Riyadi, Jazeera back then and stuff. But, nothing much. Orthodox were the best.
Right.
And then when they recruited Coach Sirsa, she took with her all the good players. It was me, Sarah Matoch, and
okay. So how was your basketball growing up from age 12 to age 14? Were you playing on the under 12, under 14? Did you go through the whole transition the same way?
I remember that I skipped definitely. So I was maybe 14 years old, and I was playing for the women teams.
Oh, wow. That's not Orthodox?
Both Ahli and Orthodox, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you had practiced 3 times a week, but did you ever...
At least, yeah. I don't remember now.
But at what point did you start, or if you ever did, start taking it more individually as well and putting in extra hours?
I would say from day one, I was very passionate about it. Basketball definitely made me a better person on all aspects because, Okay, I come from a family that is not into sports that much. Like only my brothers, but my brothers are much older than me, and they lived abroad most of their life. So I didn't have like the chance to live with them a lot. And if they were there, probably they would watch my games and stuff. But my dad and mom, they had no clue about sports, basketball. Like all I got from them was like, okay, the support. Like my dad, Allah yarhamah, was like he used to drop me to practice, and like he hated it because I need to get up and drop her. He didn't really like the whole idea. But for him, he was like, okay, if you want to go to basketball, you need to make sure that you're studying, you're getting good grades and stuff. So that was a motivation for me. Like I was a better student and a better person overall, just for the sake of going to practice, not missing any.
So how tough was your day? Could you walk me through your days, like through school, then going to practice and studying
as a child? Yeah. So pretty much it was day in school, and then like the second I remember, like the second I come home before eating, like I would do my homework and like tell my dad that I finished my homework, so I'm ready to go, and then I would eat lunch and go to practice. Sometimes like if he cannot drop me, like you'll see tears dropping and then messaging Coach Sirsa trying to find like who can pick me up. So like literally, I'm not joking. Like I used to cry if I'm not going to practice. It was that. And I would cancel any birthday party for my friends, outing. If I have a basketball, like even dates with Muhannad later, I can talk to you about that. Definitely. Like just for the sake of practice. Like
basketball came first for her, which I love.
It takes a lot of sacrifice to get to where you did, honestly.
Right, but what about school? Were you a good student?
I was, yes.
Okay, so you're able to manage both, to be a great basketball player at your age and at the same time high grades.
Again, like the basketball taught me those qualities, like time management, pushing hard, how to invest in your time and how to manage, so definitely,
Do you feel like the love you had for the game was reciprocated by the Jordanian infrastructure for women's basketball, or was it tough to actually find?
I think it was like coming from within. Because if I want to be honest, like we don't have like the best ecosystem when it comes to women, not in basketball, I think in general, in sports, like we're still, not at the level that it should be. If I want to even be honest, it's even globally, like it's still men's come first, like if you want to look at the WNBA versus NBA, like the attention and everything, now it's picking up, now it's getting better, but it was never the same.
I think Caitlin Clark is like really gonna change the way people view women's basketball, to be honest. But she's entertaining, she's fun, and I think at the end of the day, it is about entertainment. It's a demand driven industry, and if you have things that are fun to watch and people want to see you play, then you're going to drive more engagement. And I think she does a great job. I mean, she's just a great player first and foremost, but also her style of play is so unique for a woman that like I think she will drive it. But I want to go back to Jordan. So you, despite maybe not feeling like there was a support system, now looking back, I mean, like almost 20 years after your career started, do you think it's gotten better or worse?
My career, you mean?
No, the support system in Jordan.
Today versus 20 years ago.
It's improved for sure. It did improve. Like we're not like the same as it is before. But if you want to look at tangible results, it's still the same. We're still struggling to have a league. We're still struggling to find clubs that are willing to invest in women. Like for now, it's only Faiz. Like even the Orthodox, which was like the production of all the good female players, now they're no longer they're not interested to invest in women basketball anymore. So it improved a bit when it comes to, let's say, basketball academies like SD13. Like I really enjoy like watching young female athletes trying to get better, training better than we used to train as kids. But when it comes to tangible results, I think it's quite the same, if not worse.
I want to take you back to the first moment you played with the women at a young age. How was that experience? And was it a pleasant experience or was it a tough thing?
I was, first of all, very excited, and I wanted like to give it my 200%, not my 100%. And I had a clear mission. Like I knew that my role within the team is not the offensive player. And this is like, I was known as a kid, which is like the opposite of what I am today, to be the best defender player. So I remember like Coach Sirsa used to put me on the best player that the other team has. And my mission is like, I don't see anything around me.
Stay with her, wherever she goes.
She can't score, and that's
Annoy,
it.
Essentially. Just be annoying the entire game.
Exactly. So that was my mission and that was my role. And, because of that, I used to earn those minutes because I would kill it, like run fast, defend, and like whatever. If I guard, like I got the steals, I go for my pass breaks, but I was never like the scorer or the 3-pointer or, the style of playing that I have today was never,
I think that's really important for people listening that like you have to know your role within a system, and eventually you'll get to build yourself as a player the way you have. But ultimately, if your role is to play defense, then shut up and play defense. You know? And embrace it, right? Like that's how you get minutes, and that's how you earn. And that's one of the biggest things I think I regret from my career when I think back about it, is that like my second season was very difficult, and when I would get in at the end of games, I'd been so used to playing 40 minutes and being a starter that I didn't take those 5 minutes seriously. I'd be like, fuck this, we're winning by 30. Like, I don't want to take it seriously. And then it's like, well, actually, if you show that you can remain focused for 35 minutes on the bench, and then when those 5 minutes come, you play well, you're going to earn your minutes. You know?
I agree.
So it's very important. It's very nice to hear you say that, you know what, you knew your role from an early age, because that's something I struggle with a lot.
Yeah, I was like totally locked in. I remember I had like a funny story. I don't know if you remember Halam Hayson. You know,
yes,
she
I've
was
heard
like,
of her. I don't remember that.
Yeah, she was like a point guard of Riyadi Jazeera, one of these
Right.
two. And my mission was to guard her. And I remember like, you know, because I literally was zoned out and locked in just, you know, with her. At one point, like, she got subbed out and I was following her. And she was like, fuck off. You know?
She literally took me she was like, I'm going with you.
That's good, though.
On the bench, I'm sitting right
It was
there.
like that much. I'm locked in. I'm like totally zoned out from whatever is happening.
So that means you played your role well. That means most of, maybe all the women accepted you on the team easily, right? Or did you have any kind of
no,
friction?
like, honestly, for the women basketball, we like, fine, we compete and stuff, but we're like family. We're very close. Like, we're...
How old were you when you had your first national team call up?
National team.
Or sorry, you're speaking about the women.
About the women,
okay, sorry.
Because I want to know, like, you said you were 14, right? When you played with the women team?
Yeah, something like that.
And they accepted you easily?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That's amazing. Who was your mentor?
In the...
When, during that period?
In that period,
who did you look up to in women basketball, Jordan? During that era, that, like, if I'm
Hala
fit,
Khalaf,
okay.
and like Dina Nasser was at
Right.
that point like I think Hala Khalaf was the captain, and then we had like those good players, Dina Nasser, Dina Halassi, you know.
Right. Did they kind of take care of you?
Oh, yeah, they were amazing. We were like sisters, you know.
Right. I have a question that I wrote down. Give me 1 second. It's very, very important in regarding to mentors, and it's how. My question to you is like, who mentors you, and how do great mentors for women basketball in Jordan come up if there isn't that support? So what do I mean by it? The infrastructure has been very bad for so long. So women have been going through tough moments for a long time. True. So you never had these great mentors. So how do you develop mentors if it was never, like, nobody has ever really made it?
Well, I would say the same way we as players, like, we're self-motivated. You know, we had those coaches who were self-motivated as well. And one of them, as we said, like Coach Sirsa, who was like, you know, everything when it comes to women basketball. So she definitely was one of my mentors. And the second mentor who literally transformed my game into something else was Coach Faisal. Great
coach. Amazing coach. The reason I asked that, because a lot of these women, when you talk to them, you feel their frustration. And frustration sometimes leads to negativity. And by that, I mean, when you have another young child in front of you and that's coming up, you have tendency to tell them, like, maybe basketball is not the way to go, because basketball in Jordan is not, for women, is not a good career, not a good path. So you find yourself like you're pushing women away from the sport. Yeah. That's why I was asking that question, because it's frustrating, and I see it all the time. I see a program that goes on for a year and then it gets shut down for 3 years.
Yes.
So that's why.
But Ruby gave a great answer when she spoke about it, which is just like, at the end of the day, the one thing that transcends that is the love for the game.
Definitely,
and you're going to keep playing.
Definitely.
So 14, you played with the women for the first time. 15, 16, 17, you're building a career, and you decide to study in Jordan. Despite the fact that maybe you could have gone and played college ball overseas or even studied internationally.
I wish I did.
Okay, so
I didn't have that awareness.
So what kept you in Jordan?
Well, I missed, let me tell you. So before, I studied in Jordan during university, but before that, I lived in Dubai for like a year or a year and a half with my brother. I studied, I graduated school from Dubai, actually.
Okay, high school.
Yes, high school.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I stayed here for 1 year together with my brother.
And you were playing basketball here still?
At that year, I was doing only pickups, like nothing serious. But what made me actually go back to Jordan was the fact that I missed basketball. I missed my teammates. I missed, family and stuff. So, this is when I went back. which is okay decision, but
right.
I wish I was like thinking differently.
So what was the move to come to Dubai on your last year? You're a senior. Why would you come to Dubai?
It was due to some family pressure, honestly. Okay. So I come from a divorced family, and like I was a little lost between like where do I feel more comfortable? Like do I like it with my mom? Do I like it with my dad more? And then like the closest person to me at that point in time was my brother.
Wow.
And I was going through a lot, and I decided that I want to be with someone that I can trust and I can feel comfortable with.
How did basketball help you with that struggle?
Oh yeah, it was my way out of all that stress. Right. Like my parents got divorced when I was 6 years old, so pretty much my entire life.
Wow. Okay.
And I think at that point in time, like when I was younger, it was still a taboo, and I remember like I used to hide it from my friends. Like when I go to school, I would invent stories, about my dad and mom that they were together and we went out somewhere and stuff.
Right.
That were not true, because I felt that it's something that I want to hide for myself, or I should be maybe ashamed of, or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah.
So do you mind if I can dive into that a little bit more?
Of course. No
it's not I have a feeling. I know I've experienced it with friends of mine that had divorced parents, that they feel like they're the reason why the divorce happened, and they blame themselves a lot growing up till they come within themselves and understand it wasn't their fault. Did you ever have that feeling?
No, not really. Like if I want to look at my dad on his own and my mom on her own, they're both great people, but they're just not a good match.
Okay. So you never blamed yourself, and is it me? Is it the problem?
I never blamed myself, but I always like blamed the situation. Like I didn't like the situation, and like, they were kind of completely disconnected. Like, some people get divorced now, but they can still, communicate when it comes to their kids, what needs to happen and stuff. My parents were not like that.
Okay.
Like it was like enemies.
Right.
So that's why I think like it's kind of their fault how we dealt with it.
Right.
And I was the youngest. Like my brothers are like much older. So my elder one is like 14 years older than me, and the other is like 12 years older than me. So I was the youngest and probably the one that needed the most attention.
Right.
And because it happened when I was 6 years old, so I don't have like the memories that they have, for our parents, together and stuff. So.
But you said something really important, and I think it's about life in general. Is that when you stop viewing your parents as this couple together and each as an individual, it helps you understand the relationship a lot more, and you're able to like take a step back and realize that they're also just two people trying to figure out this fucking crazy little life we have. And just because you marry someone at 21 doesn't mean that's your soulmate. And I think having that conversation with yourself also must have been a very big moment for you.
Of course, yes, definitely.
That's definitely tough. How did that help you in your relationship?
I hope like my dad, Allah yarhamu, but my mom wouldn't take it in a bad way. But I think I wanted always to be the opposite with my kids and with my husband and family. Like I wanted to be the opposite of what I've experienced.
What you saw and you experienced.
Yes. But it's funny because now you can, I'm sure when you're younger, that fuels you like, I'm going to be different. I'm going to be the opposite. But now you can actually take a step back and be grateful, right? And be like, maybe it wasn't great for me, but at least I got to learn how I want to be with my kids and my husband.
Definitely.
You want to go?
No. I'm going to go talk about.
I was going to go back to basketball. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
At what point did you realize that this could be an actual career for you? Because you mentioned you played with the women.
Career, never, until now. Career, no. Career is always for women.
So you're doing it just recreationally. You're just doing it for fun.
For the love of the game. Love of the game, for sure. It will never be a career for women, unfortunately, in this part of the world.
So you never thought about it as a career?
You can't have it as a career. Even if I wanted to, come on.
But did you think about it like, you know what, this is my career?
I wish I could, but you have to be realistic at the end of the day.
Did you ever put it above everything?
Always.
So it is a career in a way.
No, but maybe
it's not a career. It's a passion.
It's a passion.
It's what you love to do,
and it allows you to excel. At
exactly, and it's what I do for myself. Like the amazing satisfaction that I have when I play basketball. Like,
right.
And especially, by the way, like the older I get, the more passion I have for the game, because really, like I don't think I push myself to practice. Like we were discussing now, like how you felt like you wanna stop playing when you said like the 6 a.m. workouts were not the same. At least so far for me, no. Like I literally call the coaches, make sure that I have a session. I call the players, even if you wanna do like a pickup when we don't have a lead. Like
you're insane, by the way. Your workout routine with your busy days, unbelievable. She's always in the gym. She's always working out. It's insane. But when did you move from Orthodox to Fais? When did that move happen?
2014, after I delivered my daughter Tala. The reason, I think, the coach and the players at that point in time didn't believe that I'm going to come back as strong as I was before I delivered the baby.
Which coach?
So you felt like
players?
the Orthodoxy team did not... That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Kind of turned their back on you.
I was not even selected amongst the 12. Like, I think they had...
Get out of here.
Yeah, I swear. Yeah. I think they had like some tournament abroad. I can't remember now because that's like a long time back. But basically, she did not select me amongst the 12. And that was like immediate for me.
How did it make you feel, honestly?
Oh, horrible. I didn't want to move to Faiz, by the way. I remember I joined them for like a Bani Yas tournament only for like a short period of time. And I was making sure like, I'm not going to sign, you know, I'm just going with you for that tournament. And I did great. Like, I remember my daughter was like 40 days old. I was like still, you know, freshly delivered my baby. And I did so good. And they were like talking to me. I remember Ayman and Coach Faisal and saying like, please, let's sign you. They tried to sign me in Abu Dhabi, you know, while I was there. And I was like, no, I was giving the priority to Orthodox. I really didn't want to leave my teammates and everything and go somewhere else. But, you know, I didn't feel the same excitement from my team. And I think the reason was because they thought I'm not going to come back. I was the first, I think, player who got married and had a baby.
Came back. Physically, what is that like, honestly, trying to make it back to a high level after you give birth?
Honestly, if there's a will, there's a way. Like both times I was back. Even I think in my second baby, I was back faster.
Yeah, I remember that.
She just made it sound so easy. It's definitely not an easy thing.
But again, like I don't want to...
I'm like, how does she do it? She came back
honestly,
so quick.
I don't want to say that now because some female athletes maybe take longer. So please, everybody knows how their body is. But again, like the main sentence that I want to tell all those female athletes who get married, who have kids, is that if there's a will, there's a way. You'll find a way and you can do it. Like your body is strong and you can do whatever, you know, you really want to.
I'm having a little flashback because I remember you're on your second baby.
Yes.
I'm remembering the videos you used to post. You were working out like crazy.
Yes.
While she was pregnant. And I'm just remembering these Instagram videos she was posting.
Yeah, actually, so for the first baby, I was like, you know, I had that old mentality that if you get pregnant, you need to stop. And I stopped immediately. The minute I found out that I'm pregnant, I stopped. But for my second, I played for 4 months and I have like some insane videos like jumping and I played the league.
When you're talking about it, that's why I remember these videos.
Yes. But again, like I had my doctor, I remember I talked to her about it. Like, okay, I'm an athlete, I'm a basketball player. Can I still play or not? And surprisingly, she told me if your body is used to it, you can keep doing it until the 4th month. Wow. But basketball, the one with contact, you know. But I kept working out like throughout the whole pregnancy. But, you know, basketball with contact, I did it for the first 4 months. It was crazy.
Unbelievable. You know, it's funny. We're in the U.S. and my wife's pregnant on our second baby. So there's a park right by my mom's house in Orange County.
Yeah.
And then I'm going out for sprints. And then Stella was like, I'm going to join. I think she was 5 months pregnant or something like that. And I'm like, come on, let's do sprints. And then she was doing sprints with me. And I remember I was showing my mom the videos and I came back home. My mom was like, are you crazy? What are you doing? Why you haven't do all these sprints? And I would say that's why my kids are kind of athletes. Because of these sprints that she was doing.
So you mentioned that you always knew it was never going to be a full-time career for you. So even when you were playing in 2014 and you were playing for the national team, you were working on the side.
It was always a side thing,
You're going to let her get away without speaking about Orthodox, how they didn't give her a chance to come back? I need to hear it.
Good point.
You better tell me, how did that make you feel? And what kind of bullshit were they on?
I didn't feel well about it. Like,
Till today, you probably didn't.
I was
till
mad.
today, probably.
Yes. No, we got over it. I'm glad I made this move, actually.
Right.
I'm glad. They all followed me.
They did. Yeah. But what's the difference between them, did you feel, and Faiz?
I told you, like, Faiz is when I transformed my game.
Right.
Because, like, most of my career with Orthodox, my role was the defensive player. And again, like, I love Coach Sirsa. Like, we spoke about it in a very positive way, but I remember how, like, you know, she had like favorite players when it comes to offense. It was like Dina Nasser, Ruby, you know, those players who are allowed, who are allowed to shoot. Like, I remember how when I used to play with her, like, she would tell me, like, pass, don't shoot, and I shoot and I make it, and I look at her like, you know, I can make it.
Wow.
But my role was like the defensive player. Like, and don't get me wrong, she used to love me a lot. Like, I'm amongst her favorite player, and I know it. But yeah, that was my role, and she never looked at me differently. She never maybe saw that potential in me where, like, I can be a good offensive player. Like, I was just defense and fast break.
But you were working on your offensive game alone, because there's no way you're a shooter the way you are.
Yes, but not as much as later.
Okay.
You know, like I wish I had that awareness, and I wish I had the trainers that I train with, like, you know, the styles of you. I've never tried you, by the way, and I've always wanted to do so.
I think you got into it once you moved to Dubai. That's when you started training a lot.
Yes. And like the whole concept was different. Like, you know, we didn't have the awareness of how important is working out in the gym, how important is the skills, you know, development, nutrition. That's still bad.
Leave that alone. Put that aside.
Yeah, but we didn't have the same awareness, I think. Like, I wish we had it, because I would have been like 10 times better than the player I am today.
How did Fay's team take you on? Because they had big names.
Like, you know, Coach Faisal was giving me all the freedom, and he used to tell me, like, you're a great shooter, you're a great player, and he used to put on more time, like, okay, the regular practice with the team, and then he would, like, you know, stay with me to work on my game, like, you know,
so Coach Faisal's the one who gave you the confidence, because you went on a stacked team, and it's tough. That team is stacked.
I was like scoring 30s, 20s,
that.
You know, that was my average, you know, with Faiz. And I never had that. Like, my best games probably with Faiz was like, with Orthodox, double digits, like 10, 12, but nothing crazy. Like with Coach Faisal, I had like 36 against Algeria, you know, 30 something against Tunisia, against Egypt. Like, I never knew that I was that capable. You know?
Probably coaching, right?
I think coaching and confidence, it's crazy how much basketball is a mental game. And how much when someone, you know, when a coach trusts you, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways, right? If a coach puts you down, then you're done.
You're done.
Yes.
You're done. It's wild. You mentioned scoring a lot of points against Tunisia, Algeria. Can you talk to us about your first national team call-up and what that meant to you?
Oh, guys, I cannot remember, honestly. Like, it's been a while. But the first, I'd say, memorable one is that the Asia B qualifiers, you know, the one that we came in second place.
Right.
And we played as a team, you know, so good in most of the game until the final.
You guys were phenomenal, by the way, in that tournament. You guys were absolutely great.
Yes. And I was amongst the players who really performed well.
You did. I think you guys put Jordanian women basketball players on the map during that tournament, and I've never seen the gym so packed for women basketball like during that 10 days.
It was the
you guys
first
did a
time
phenomenal
ever.
job.
Thank you.
And I still remember.
Lily and Zara spoke to us about how if they could redo one game from their careers.
Oh,
that final.
definitely that one.
What do you think happens?
I wouldn't say that we will win it.
No.
Like, let's face it. Come on. Like, the leagues in Lebanon are 10 times better than ours. And in Lebanon, they do basketball for career. Like, you have a couple of players who don't do anything else other than, like, Rebecca and Aida and these girls. Like, you know, what they do in life is just, you know, play basketball. So it's a different game. It's a different, country and how they...
Support system.
Right.
Exactly. But I don't think we would have lost the same way. You know, that's the...
You think it was mental? Just the occasion?
Definitely. We were all like, you know, so pale. We were looking at the
crowd, 5,000 people.
Like, we were all shaking, literally. Like,
yeah.
And nothing was going in. And the more we were missing, we were like, you know, getting more nervous. We couldn't lift each other up as a team.
Agreed.
You know, so it was,
before the game, did you feel like you guys were nervous, or did you have confidence going into it? Yeah?
We were.
I think you guys lost the game the night before, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you why. I don't think you guys prepared mentally for the game. You guys prepared like watching film, but mentally, I think you guys couldn't relax and live the moment.
Yes.
And I believe that's why you guys lost. And it could tell from the way you guys were standing in the national anthem, the way you guys' body language looked on the court when the game started. But I disagree with you. I think if you replay the game, you guys will win. For one main reason. You guys were playing phenomenal the whole tournament. That one game, the pressure of championship, 5,000 people watching, it's never been like that in Jordan. And you guys kind of choked because of everything going on outside the actual game, not the game. That's what I really believe from my observation, being at the game, and of course being connected to all you ladies. That's what I felt.
Yes.
And I believe if you guys would have kind of came together and literally calm each other down before the game and understand it's just a regular game. Nothing has changed. The outcome would have been different.
Yes, I agree.
What's it been like living in Dubai while still trying to play for the Jordanian national team and be a part of the Jordanian women's basketball ecosystem?
Okay, so I moved to Dubai 10 years back. My first year and a half was like horrible. I hated Dubai. I didn't want to stay. And I was fighting with my husband on daily basis, like, take me back home, you know, like I had my whole, career, team, etc. Because I didn't find the right ecosystem here and like the right people around me. So the first year and a half, it was horrible. Now, if you ask me, like, I love my country, Jordan, and it's not the end of the world if I go back. But like I prefer to stay here, and like what I've accomplished here, the opportunities that I got, and everything is like amazing, and I'm really grateful. Now, how did I manage? Again, we go back to if there's a will, there's a way, and the fact that I train every day, literally. Like I only take one day off. And I enjoy it, and I play in a lot of leagues. Like there's many expat leagues that happen. Like you have for women, you have for mixed, and there's a lot of pickups. And I always play in those. Like literally, whoever dribbles the ball in Dubai, I probably know. So yeah,
I think she trains more than any woman. Not all of them. I want to be fair to the Lili and the Zaras, but I think you train more than 90%, 95% of the Jordanian girls in Jordan.
True, and I play more
is that she also has a full-time job and 2 kids and a husband to manage.
and she keeps flying, like, what, you usually fly a week before the tournament or 3 days before every tournament in Jordan?
Depends, like, at some point in time, I had to fly every weekend to train over weekend, then come back. And in some tournaments, like, I would go a week before, and they send me plays ahead of time. I try to, memorize.
How tough is that, by the way?
It is tough. It's not easy. And like also coming back and, the team would be already training together.
Right.
They're there. Like
the chemistry.
Exactly. The chemistry. The good thing is that I know all of them and like we're family again.
Right, right.
But you still like, if I want to put myself in their shoes, I would understand that for them, like, okay, we trained the whole year here together and then like someone comes from outside.
A week before the tournament, takes the starting position.
So I understand like it might not be pleasant to all the players, but I see like, maybe first couple of trainings when I join, there will be some resistance, and then later when things, when they see that how I help them and I'm here to support them, the attitude changes.
It's crazy. You've been doing that for so many years, and that issue still happens, right?
Of course, but I understand that. Like I don't feel mad at them or anything because I understand. Like every player wants to play. Every player, like we're there. We're spending the time, and all of them have the same kind of circumstances. Like they study or they work, and they have a lot of obligations, and they're sacrificing that time to play. So I totally understand their perspective. Right. And I love the fact that, we overcome it every time.
Right. Do you feel like you have more pressure on you, or is more pressure on the coach to fit you in?
So it depends on the coach, honestly. Like some coaches are, pretty straightforward. Like, whoever is performing on court has to be in court. Like,
nice. I like those type of coaches.
Yeah, it's 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
Like some try to kind of, like they talk to me before, hey, like, Rasha, maybe we're not going to start you this game, but we'll be starting you later. And I'm like, my reaction is always, do whatever you see fit. You don't have to tell me that. But like kind of out of respect, because I'm the eldest and like I have the most experience and stuff. So kind of they prepare me for that. And I'm like, always, I respect whatever decision you make, but at the same time, just be fair. Like if you think I should be there, let me be there,
Okay.
Don't punish me for having a career and a life outside, especially because I'm still grinding.
Because I'm also doing the sacrifice,
leaving your kids
in Dubai,
behind.
Leaving kids, leaving work. It's not easy. Like you think it's easy every time I come. No, it's not.
Right.
So.
You've spoken about how basketball taught you a lot and how you feel like it helps you kind of zero in and focus when you're away from everything else. In the different companies you've worked at, you were at HR at Zain, you were an account manager at Orange, a squad leader at Infobip. So all these are very people related. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like basketball helped you understand how to play in a team and how to sort of focus on people?
Absolutely. Like basketball has so much to offer, like it's not only about the game and being active and, accomplishing on court. Like it teaches you a lot of values that if you implement outside the court, like you become a champion in everything in life, so absolutely.
How competitive is it, the corporate world?
Oh, so tough. And again, I work in sales. Like I'm a person who needs to bring revenue for every company I worked for.
Right.
But sorry to interrupt, but it's interesting because working in sales again is very similar to sports in the sense of assuming you have a commission structure. It's like you will get what you put in.
I have a target and I have competitors and I need to position myself, better than the competitors.
It's like accountability, right?
Definitely. And now like I grew to become a team leader, so also inspiring my team, all that. So.
What's been the toughest part for you?
At work?
Yeah.
Well, the pressure. It's like, it's crazy here. Like if you don't deliver, you're out.
So it's that continuous.
You're
always trying to push the buttons.
When you work in sales, like December, I was happy, we achieved, and now January I have new targets. It's kind of depressing the first
it never ends.
It never ends. It never ends. But at the same time, it's cool because like if you looked in my career, like I had 2 years at DP World, which I was doing like a kind of HR admin kind of job, and I hated it. This is when I wanted to go back to Jordan because it was very laid back.
Right.
I would sit for hours doing nothing. Probably now I think about it and I'm crazy. Right. I need that kind of. But you really, like, I used to hate it. I used to go to my manager, ask for more, work because like I'm not being challenged as a person. Right. So now it's totally different. And this is the type that I like. I like the corporate challenge. I like the,
Right. I'm sure Abdu can talk a little bit more about that corporate world because he's into that.
So we're not corporate, but I understand the corporate world a little bit. But I wanted to ask actually, without suggesting that work culture in Jordan isn't up to par with Dubai, what was it like balancing work at at Zain and Orange when you were in Jordan versus here in Dubai, where there is a bit more of an infrastructure in tech?
Look, like the fact that I worked for Zain, Jordan, Omnia, those 3 operators, like they're amongst the top companies in Jordan. So I was lucky to be part of that good corporates for the sake of the foundation. But again, like, if you want to compare it to Dubai, like it's pretty laid back, I would say. Like it's not the same. It's not the same pace. It's not the same competition.
So you would say maybe if you were with your family there, you'd have more time maybe for your family. Whereas here, it's kind of, I feel like your days here are very much like 6 a.m. workout, 7 a.m. kids, 8 a.m. office, back, second workout.
Not really, because again, I was working in sales and I was having targets. I was managing customers. I was managing team at like in Omnia, like when I got promoted and stuff. So, and you still have to do like a 6 p.m. job. So it's quite the same. But I would say, now the industry that I'm in, like the IT and how innovative, like literally every month, if not few weeks, like we have something new
happening,
new product, either new feature within our products, something coming up, we events, travel, because I cover also a region and my HQ is in Croatia, for example. Like I'm traveling on Sunday to Zagreb, for planning kickoffs and stuff. So yeah, it's hectic. It's more hectic.
How do you manage to be so committed to your career, sports, and yet family as well? I mean, I got to give a shout out to your husband. He must be a hell of a supporter. I mean, this is tough. You got so much on your plate.
Honestly, I wouldn't have done it without him, without his support, like definitely, because, I know a lot of athletes who don't have the same support system and they end up probably quitting.
Yeah, you can't make it.
It's not easy. And I don't blame them and I don't judge. But honestly, like having a supportive, understanding partner is very important. So my advice to the young ladies, please pick right. Make sure that you are with someone who understands you, who doesn't want to limit you.
Yeah.
And I definitely give the credit for Muhannad to this aspect. My daughters, how I see, that they are proud of me, like that inspires me for sure. Like I know that, Tala, when she watches my game, or Tina now, like how my husband sometimes, like he sends me pictures, how like they're, I'm a bravo mama. These moments are just like amazing. So definitely they keep me going. Love for the game, the fact that I want to become a better person, the fact that I want to be a better mom, and give them all the attention and love that they deserve at the end of the day, because you always have this guilt feeling, like when you're a mother with a career, and when you have to leave your kids sometimes to travel or for whatever, like you have that guilt feeling within. So for me, like it kind of gives me the drive to make sure that whatever time I'm spending with my daughters is always quality time that compensates for all the time that I leave them.
Right.
Phone off, very present, very there. I see it with my sisters as well. Both of them are career focused, but when they're with their kids, they're fully with their kids.
Exactly.
Do you think if the roles are reversed, you'll be able to tolerate Muhannad being this busy all the time?
He is busy all the time.
Oh, he is? I always like to ask that question just because I know women, it's tough on them when the male's always busy. And that's usually the complaint from women. My husband's always busy. He's always gone. He's always working, very career oriented. And that's who you are.
I think this is why both of us, like we ended up being a good and successful couple, because we both have a life outside of, each other.
Okay.
This is important because sometimes it becomes boring for both of you. Like when you're just thinking about that person,
or codependent, right? That's dangerous.
Like you're just dependent and you're waiting for him to come back home, and like, this is when you start being jealous. This is when you start being picky about everything. And I think the fact that both of us are successful with whatever we are doing makes us a better couple.
Fair, I like that.
Do you get the same fulfillment when you succeed in the office as you do when you succeed on the court?
Oh, come on. Basketball is my love.
Well, the thing is, I've started to. And it's been, I think I'm very lucky. Yeah. First of all, I think you make your own luck in life. But I think for the most part, I'm very lucky that I found a job that I love. But genuinely speaking, as much as I love the game, I have found that balance where like getting a compliment from the people I work with or doing something, productive at work makes me feel as good as it does.
Of course, hooping, like now, especially when you work in sales, like that adrenaline rush that you get when you close a deal, like, big deals that we work with. It's amazing. Like I enjoy it and I love it, but do I compare it to when I win a basketball game and I hit a 30-point? No. That's what I do for myself. Like basketball is me being selfish, doing something that I like.
It's funny, Valerie, just sorry to interrupt, but Valerie, the last episode we released was with Valerie Tarazi, the Palestinian flag bearer at the Olympics, and something she said, which I found so powerful. And, if you're watching the episode, maybe you don't catch it, but for people who play sports, she's like, if I never get a personal best time again, if I never compete again, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm swimming for me. Mm-hmm. And I think so many people, and especially me in my short-lived basketball career, I was doing it not for the wrong reasons, but I forgot why I did it in the first place, which was because I loved it. And because when you're there and you're on the court, you're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about the bad grade you got or the thing you said to your dad in a fight or whatever it may be. Yeah. And if you lose that love for the game, it's going to affect the way you perform and it's going to affect your relationship with basketball. He pulled me out of a gutter. I hated basketball. I hated basketball. I did not want anything to do with it. So I think it's really lovely to hear you say that, like, no matter what, even though it's a career for you, it is a career, you don't view that at all as a career. It's purely passion-based.
Definitely. And just by the way, sorry, to give you a credit, like I remember in the latest Arab tournament that we had, like I had a couple of bad games and I was so pissed, and we were supposed to have that podcast and I canceled because I was feeling that, bad. And this
I didn't know that's why you canceled.
Yeah, that's why I canceled. That's why I canceled. Like
I was going through a lot.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was going through a lot, and I just hated the fact that I wasn't performing in those couple of games. And he was amongst the people who really like motivated me and like made me.
There's no one like Sam Douglas.
And she had a phenomenal championship.
I was turning and looking at him. Like if you see my highlights video, like when I was scoring those 3-pointers, I was looking at him.
I was sitting right on the sideline, and she was on fire. And I'm like, let him know. Because I think people forget about her. She's such a good shooter. And every great shooter is going to miss a couple. But you got to let him keep shooting. Shoot, man. And let him live. Let him breathe. And I think that's what's going on early in the tournament. And finally, when she let loose, I think she had 4 threes in the first half or 5 threes.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much just like basketball specifically, but shooting specifically is such a metaphor for life where it's like, if you're really going to think about the miss you had a minute ago on a previous possession, like you're not going to be able to make your next shot.
I agree.
At all. And it's
you can be your own enemy. And this is what I did to myself for those couple of games. But
with the instability in women basketball, especially in Jordan, would you allow your daughter to go through that route?
If she wants it, of course,
You'll still support her, especially with the instability.
She is doing basketball. She is doing basketball actually now, and she's doing gymnastics. But she's telling me she's more into basketball. But I can tell she's great at gymnastics. But again, if she wants basketball, let it be. Like I would be the happiest, and I can support her. And I know, like, for example, like the problem that I'm having now, because I changed for her a couple of academies, and because I don't know much about gymnastics, so I cannot tell if her coach is good, if she's supposed to, deliver X, Y, Z at, that number of sessions. Versus like in basketball, like I know it all, and I know how it should be, and I know if a coach is good or not, and what she's supposed to learn and stuff. So if she wants basketball, I'd be the happiest.
But the difference between individual sports and team sports, like basketball and gymnastics. In gymnastics, if the parents wants to push their kid, they can push them to the highest level because the individual sport, and then you can make them compete in so much. In basketball, you rely on the federation and teams, and that's what's going on in Jordan. So to me, it'll be a very tough for me if I had a daughter to literally, it's not lying to her, telling her go for it, but go for what? There's nothing. There's no end.
Yeah,
that is my frustration.
Like I would always have her, know. In the back of her head that it's not your career. Look at your mom who was successful in multiple things, and I try to
but that's kind of sad in a way, you know what I mean? Don't you agree? Because
But
it should be a career.
But you have to be honest with them, and you need to make sure that they're on the right track. So, okay, enjoy it, do it as much as you want, but...
How's the ecosystem here for your daughters in terms of sports?
Similar again.
Similar?
There's a lot of... Here it's commercial, I would say. Here it's more commercial.
It looks better from the outside, but
inside.
There's
the good thing, like when it comes to facilities, man, like it's amazing. You cannot even compare to Jordan. Like every freaking school has like basketball courts, soccer courts, swimming pools. It's amazing. Like the facilities, we wish. Like I remember in my school back in Jordan, I was in Ra'ad al-Arabi. Like it's literally that. Zifta, you know.
With blacktops, it's crazy. Like how I started basketball.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, the only reason why I'm saying that it's getting frustrating because we're in 2025 and shit ain't changing.
Yeah.
And you wonder when is it really going to change?
Yeah.
And because you keep getting these new people in place, and they're very educated, and they're bringing these degrees with them and these experiences with them. But when it comes down to women sports or in basketball in general, shit ain't changing.
Yeah. And the problem here, because I did coaching, by the way, in Dubai for like a couple of years. So I was coaching in Champs Academy and I was coaching in AUD.
Right.
And what I noticed when it comes to academies, like for example, parents are basically signing up their kids for a sport for a term or a short period of time and then, switch to the other. So there's no dedication. There's no like, they just probably want to get rid of their kids for an hour, make them do something useful. But like you rarely see the parents who have the awareness, to keep their kids focused on one thing, develop it.
It's a region-wide problem, though. I think it's changing for sure, but I think sports and sports as a career is so taboo in our ecosystem that like people would never imagine. I can't imagine Arab parents putting a 5-year-old in, seeing them be good and being all right, go commit to that on a regular basis.
Yeah,
and sometimes it reminds me how lucky I was, and my parents definitely. Like, again, I grew up in the West, so it was very much like go play sports and go excel and see how good you can be, which I think it's happening in the region. I actually think Rob always talks about this. Basketball in our region is growing. I think tournaments like the one going on today that you're here for are
absolutely
changing the game, but there's still a lot of ways that we can improve.
Yeah. Do you think with your business experience, would you like to take part in the federation and maybe make that change? Would you like to take part in something like that?
Which federation, Jordanian?
Jordanian, or just women basketball in general in the Middle East? Because it has a change. It has to happen.
Honestly,
and it has to happen it has to start with people like yourself, Ruby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't mind it, but it's not like something that I am seeking. Like for me, if I inspire one kid, I'll be the happiest,
Right,
like that's what I try to do. And like whenever it happened to me in multiple times, like when I get messages from Jordanian athletes, like young Jordanian athletes on Instagram, they ask me about certain things and I always try to help. Or people who are moving to Dubai, like literally I'm apparently the go-to person to many, like, of the players that play here. Like they ask me, okay, we're coming to Dubai, where can we play? And I help everyone, like whoever reaches out to me trying to get trainings or to join teams, I try my best always to help. When I was coaching as well, like trying to put that mentality in the players that I coached, even if I didn't stay with them for a long time, but at least to deliver certain messages that could last with them forever. Being like trying to be at least a role model for younger females in general, not necessarily athletes, but the fact that you can be whatever you want to be. You don't have to limit yourself for whatever reason, like if you get married or if you had kids or whatever, like you can be whatever you want to be.
That's why she's a Nike ambassador. Inspiration. You know what I mean?
You've been at InfoBip for 3 years.
5.
5 years.
This is my 5th.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. LinkedIn needs to be up. That's my fault. What's it like growing within an organization and seeing your career path there? Because I feel like you bounced around a little bit before, but now you have this stability.
Yeah. And honestly, InfoBip is a great company where it shows appreciation to its employees. Okay. So I started with InfoBip as individual contributor, sales manager, hunter, and today, like, I lead a team of 11 people across MENA. So they did see in me like the potential, and they basically acknowledge and recognize the work that you do. So I'm happy really, like with InfoBip. I learned a lot. I became a different person for sure.
Wow.
You like being in a large corporate structure? Would you ever think about going into a startup world or no?
Preference large.
Okay.
Preference large for sure, but I don't mind startups as well, because like startups has that mentality of
I want to poach you for some of the ones we've invested in. That's why I'm asking. there's actually a fundamental lack of really high quality salespeople in our region.
Wow.
Yeah, because they don't have the experience like Western companies where they go off and they sell and they generate tens of millions of dollars in recurring revenue for companies.
Do you believe people have that talent like sports and sales, or you can actually teach somebody to become a great salesman?
I think there are fundamentals that you can help anybody improve sales, because sales is about personability and being comfortable. But I think there's a natural edge that some people have.
That personality,
it's confidence, it's aura, it's like it's conviction in yourself, and also like for the most part, it's conviction in the product you're selling. Like you can be a great salesperson and sell something shitty, but if you're working for a company that you believe in that actually is innovating and developing new products, it also makes your job easier. So like, there are things that can be taught, but there are things that can't. Same as basketball, right?
True.
Like, you can work your ass off.
There's like this art part of the sales and the science part of the sales. So both, you need to be good at both. Like the art part is like what's he saying? Like you have to have the natural talent. Like people need to like you. You need to be approachable, likable by customers. And then you have the science part where like it's like number game at the end of the day. If you have a proper pipeline, if you know how to qualify leads, if you know how to develop within opportunities, then
I like it. So what is next for you then?
Career-wise?
Yeah. Like what's your goal?
Learn more. Like honestly, although I started, by the way, working when I was in university. So I was in the second year of university when I started working at Zain. So prior to graduating. So I've been working for a while, but I think I learn by the day, literally. So I didn't reach a point where I say, I'm like, now I only need to go for a managerial big role. Although I did reach that. I got promoted in the last 2 companies that I worked for. And I had teams, but I still don't mind, learning. I love learning. So as long as I feel within the ecosystem and the company that I'm working for that, first of all, culture is important for me, that I'm within a good company that has a positive culture. Right. And if I'm learning, if I'm developing as a person, not necessarily, up the hierarchy, but also just the fact that I'm learning something new by the day, then I'm happy. Like it gives me that satisfaction.
So you don't mind for your career to keep taking so much hours, so much time away from your time?
Yeah, it is. This is how it is.
Okay.
This is how it is.
So you're not thinking how athletes, we think we want to buy time back to be able to enjoy life?
Well, I would love to be a millionaire who can, she was like, we all love that.
Right.
But since I'm not, like, I'm fine with being an athlete.
Right.
So
go ahead.
I was going to say, I was going to leave it for you because you love to ask the question, but I want to make sure we do it. You mentioned that when you had a couple bad games, you got on yourself and it affected your mood, and then you ended up canceling the show, which I'm grateful for because now we did it in person, obviously. Yes. But then how speaking to someone, Sam, helped you sort of get back into a groove. Sam has been very candid that throughout his career he was seeing a therapist, and that it helped him deal with some of the ups and downs. And beyond just playing basketball at a high level, you also are a parent, and you also work in tech, and you also have to manage your relationship with your husband. Do you see someone externally? Do you think that it's important for athletes to have relationships with therapists?
I used to in that year and a half when I moved to Dubai. I told you, like, when I moved with my brother, I did see a professional therapist because, like, honestly, like, remember how I told you, like, when I was a kid, I used to hide the fact that my parents are divorced. I never used to cry in front of anyone, like,
Wow.
I remember, like, the moment when my mom, like, was leaving, and my mom is Lebanese, by the way. So when my parents got when my parents got divorced, she had to move back to Lebanon. So I didn't get, like, I used to see her only 1 month per year. And I remember how she was crying and stuff. And I was like, literally, I didn't show any emotions.
No way.
So that therapist, when I moved to Dubai, like, helped me to show emotions and to cry and to be angry and to show, my opinion and to talk about things. But that was it, not that I would mind. Like, if I feel that I have the need, I would do it for sure. And I advise everyone who feels that they need, not necessarily that they feel anything bad, but it's just that I want to talk to someone, maybe a stranger that doesn't have to judge me or,
We spoke to Ruby about this because she was like, but if I don't feel like I need it, and both Sam and I were trying to say, like, it's okay to see someone when things are going well. Because at the end of the day, they're just giving you the tools to that when things don't go well, you know how to handle it. It's not about being depressed and needing a therapist. Definitely. If anything, that might cause back to codependence, right? Which is what you want to try and avoid in any kind of relationship.
And sometimes they make you even become greater.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Which was good.
Yeah, she helped me. I became a different person. Really.
Right. No, I think most athletes should consider it. I think a lot of us are shy to try it out.
I didn't see a therapist as an athlete. I saw it for a person.
As an individual.
As an individual.
No, as an athlete, not.
Well, as of late, I've been seeing it as an individual too, not just an athlete.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because sometimes I think we need that voice.
Mm-hmm.
But when your mom walked out, sorry, I want to go back to
worries,
it. You were 6 when she got up and left, and she had to go back to Lebanon.
Yes.
Wow, that must have been tough.
Mm-hmm.
And was it your choice to live with your dad instead of your mom, or was it?
So, yeah. No, I wouldn't think, how is it my choice when I was 6 years old?
Right.
But all my brothers and sister, they were with my dad, and I wanted to stay with them. Obviously. So,
okay. That must have been tough, man. That's not easy at all. And for you, the fact that you didn't even want to show emotion, that's even beyond me.
Yeah, I didn't know how to.
Right.
Really, I was a kid.
Right.
And I would hide it all. And
Were you able to maintain a relationship with your mother even though she was in Lebanon?
Yes, but are we close as a mother and daughter should be? Not really.
But as you said, you've used that for the right reasons, and now I think you...
No, it's really both of them. And I think with my dad, Allah yarhamah, I had a closer relationship, honestly. He was an amazing person.
Did you feel like you put in effort with your mom?
Oh, yeah.
Or you wanted her to put in more effort?
When I was younger, I used to feel weird when she comes, but when I get older, obviously I became a different person. I'm more mature and stuff, and I do put an effort. But she has her own issues. She has her own.
Right. Bravo to you, man, for able to pull through it. And mashallah, you're doing a great job. You have a great family, and I'm sure your daughters are lucky to have you and Muhammad as well. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
What's the age difference between your daughters?
So my elder one, Tala, is 10 years old. Tina is 4. 6 years gap.
So adorable.
Why? Basketball. No, I'll tell you the story. So I got married at a very young age. So I got engaged when I was 21, 22 got married, and then 23 I got pregnant with Tala. The reason why I got pregnant, the fact that I got married, I didn't want to have kids, honestly, at a young age. But the reason why I had Tala is because my dad got diagnosed with cancer. So I wanted him to see, I knew he wanted to see my kid. So I got pregnant for that sake. And unfortunately, he didn't see her. So he knew that I was pregnant. He got her presents and everything. Right. But he died a month before she was born.
My sister had a similar experience where she actually told my grandfather Allah yarhamah, before he passed away that she was pregnant. I think I'll remember the look on his face forever. So even though he didn't meet your daughter, I think that in itself was probably enough of a moment for him.
This is why I had Tala at a young age, which was not my plan initially when I got married. But for Tina, I took all my time. And I remember every year when Muhammad would tell me, let's have our second child. I'm like, I have this West Age. I have this, tournament.
I thought it wasn't a career. Why are we picking it above all? Yeah. I thought it wasn't a career. Look at you. You put it above passion child.
First.
Yeah. But then, when the time was 14, he told me, no more excuses. We're going to have a child.
By the way, go ahead. I want to ask about, do you appreciate getting married at a younger age?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because, I love the fact now that Tala is, my best friend. It's amazing. And probably when she becomes, in her 20s, I'll still be young and I'll still be, able to
go out and have fun.
Exactly. We can have fun together. But no, because I think it's nice to have more experience, to travel, to try different things, to have too many boyfriends.
to be you, at least.
Honestly, I got lucky. And alhamdulillah, and Muhammad turned out to be a great guy. But you have to be more experienced before you make such a big decision in your life.
Okay. Interesting. Do you feel you have to be more experienced of knowing what you want in life, or just go through experience in life?
Both.
Both. Okay.
I think going through experiences in life allows you to know what you want from life.
Right. It's funny because I have a friend, he always says when it comes down to picking your partner, it's pick the 3 things that you will not compromise and leave the rest alone. Leave all that bullshit alone. Yeah. Pick your top 3. Those 3 I will not compromise when I'm picking my partner.
Yeah, it's true. One of my friends, his top 3 was watching Man United, playing video games, and seeing my guys. It's fuck you too.
Oh my God.
I got one last question before we do our final 3 questions. Just because, again, so I have both my sisters have
final
kids.
one before 3. Okay.
Yes. The final 3 questions we ask every guest. But so 10 and 4 is a pretty big age difference. I've got sisters, one that has a boy that's 6 and a boy that's 4, and then a girl that's 3 and a girl that's 1. How is their relationship? Because I feel like it's still tough at the moment.
So far, it's been amazing because Tala, like my elder one, is such a sweetheart. Like she literally takes care of her like her mom.
That's so sweet.
She's really amazing. Like I don't know now when she becomes a teenager, how is it going to be? Like I have no idea.
Girls are sweet. They're always going to be sweet.
I think because she's so much older, the baby's not a threat. Whereas like now, like Layla, her 2 boys, like they're best friends. Yeah. But 6 and 4, the younger one is a bit of a he's a bit of a rascal. So like whenever he gets away with murder, the older one, like he'll be walking with his arms out, like I accidentally hit it on me. And, like, it's like, we know you're a psychological killer. Like don't do stuff like that. So it's just I always like to ask. I think it's a very interesting topic to discuss. Relationship between kids. Okay, Sam, kick us off.
For our final questions that we usually ask our guests, one thing that you haven't accomplished that keeps you up at night.
Keeps me up at night. Oh, that's a tough one. It doesn't keep me up at night, come on. But like I think the fact that I told you, like I would have made a different decision when it comes to studying. So, if I studied abroad, if I did masters and, I had that and played abroad, like would have been something that would have changed my life also.
So why you
But it doesn't keep me up at night. Like I don't have any regrets. It's okay. Like I turned out to be fine.
What was the main reason you didn't study abroad? Like what kept you from not doing that?
No, I told you, like if you remember, like when I was in Dubai, I missed my team. I missed my family. I felt okay. I made that decision to leave them, to leave my sister. Because
so it was purely your decision. It wasn't anybody else influencing.
Well, actually, my brother wanted to
keep you here.
I was planning to go to AUD. Like this is when I get scholarship for basketball. That was the plan at that point in time. And then I felt, no, I want to go back to my family and friends. I miss them. So.
Right.
Given that you do so many different things, that would be easy to attach your identity to each of them. Rasha the basketball player, Rasha, the techie. The foodie.
The foodie is the important one.
What does the word identity mean to you?
Who you are, basically, what you represent, the values that you represent, how people perceive you, how you perceive yourself also. So, it's a combination.
That's a good answer.
What does family mean to you?
Family first. Family is everything. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
Rasha, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. That was awesome. Really. I really enjoyed it. I didn't feel that it was like an interview.
It was an amazing conversation with you. I love it. For being candid, too.
That's the key word. I think what we're always trying to do is have a conversation. And you help us do that as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your honesty and being so open and candid. You're phenomenal. We love having you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And next time I go play ball above 1, I'm going to make sure.
I'm going to make sure that you play.
Make sure you play on her team so you can win a championship.
So I don't get cooked. Championship for once. I got 5 straight in Kuwait. What are you talking about? I'm undefeated championships in my professional career. Right? Fuck out of here, Mr. Sam Douglas.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Rasha.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to us on YouTube and all podcasting apps.
And make sure you follow us on all the social media apps. Another one in the books, baby. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.